Great, so tonight we are going to start in a reclined version of bound angle pose. I am going to also roll up my blanket and place this underneath my upper back as a shoulder opener. So you can do this or you can opt out of it, it's up to you. But if you do have a blanket, you're going to roll it up so that it's kind of like a small bolster. A real bolster is a little bit too dense for this, which is why I'm using a blanket roll. And I'm going to lay that horizontally across the mat. And you want this to cross your body right at the base of the shoulder blades. So that when you are on your back, what's going to happen is this like arch in the upper back, which is going to open up the thoracic space. The arms will come out to the side, but the top of the shoulders should be on the floor. So I'm going to lay myself down. You can take a moment to adjust yourselves as well. And then the soles of the feet will come together, knees open out to the side. The arms are going to come out to the sides as well, and they should be slightly above the blanket. They shouldn't be stuck resting on top of it. So bring them above that and let them rest on the floor. And if you haven't done this pose with the blanket roll underneath your spine before, it may take you a moment or two to adjust. If you're not comfortable with that support, you can, again, feel free to remove it and just do this posture flat on the back. So once you do get settled here, take a moment to scan through your body. You can gently close your eyes. Notice how you feel in this shape. Notice if there's any holding or resistance in the hips or the inner thighs. And see if you can let that release, just allowing the legs to fall open into this shape. And notice how the breath feels against the support of the blanket beneath you if you're using that. Each time you inhale, feeling the ribcage expand and gently press into the blanket as the lungs fill. And allowing that to all gently contract and release each time you exhale. And just notice the gentle opening across the thoracic space, the chest separating, collarbones widening. Let the shoulders feel heavy, dropping into the floor. And just start to focus on the sound and sensation of your own breath. And allowing the breath to move continuously, just like a wave in and out of the body without any interruption or holding along the way. Take 5 more deep breaths here. And after those 5 breaths, you can gently close the knees, plant the feet on the floor. And if you have the blanket roll underneath you, roll over to one side of your body. Just use your top arm to press yourself up a little so you can pull the blanket out from underneath you and just put that aside, and then return to lie flat on your back. And just take a moment to let the natural curvature return to the spine. Allow all the muscles in the upper back to soften against the floor. And then we're all going to plant the feet about hip width apart, so adjust them if you need to, and cross the left ankle to the right thigh for reclined pigeon pose. You can use your left hand to press that knee away from your face to open up the outer hip. And if this is enough stretch tonight, you can stay right here, or you can take the second phase, which is bringing the legs in, reaching through the space to hold the back of the right hamstring. If you're in the second phase of the pose, let your shoulders stay relaxed. And as you're still pressing the left knee away from your upper body, you can gently draw the right knee toward your upper body. So let those two directions oppose one another. And if things feel a little tight or stuck, you can add some side-to-side movement, just rocking a little bit right to left through the hips. And if you're doing that movement, you can stop, and then we'll exhale, let go of the right leg if you took it, and uncross the left ankle. Other side, right ankle to the left thigh. Use your right hand to press this knee and thigh away from the face, and you can stay or bring the legs in for phase 2. Reach through the space and clasp the back of the left hamstring. Keeping the breath smooth and even, check that the shoulders and the back of the neck are relaxed. And gently press the right knee away from you still as you hug the left knee toward you. Couple more breaths here, and you can do a little rocking side to side again if things feel a little tight or stuck in the hip. And then on an exhalation, let go of the left leg if you took it, and we'll uncross the ankle. Good, let's bring the left knee into the chest, clasping the front of the shin, and slide the right leg down on the mat. Get really strong and active through the right leg as if you're pushing that foot into a wall at the end of the mat. And each time you exhale, just allow the bent knee to move closer to your upper body. And from here, you can hold the left knee with the left hand only. The right arm can relax on the floor. We're going to guide the left knee out to the side, just wider than your rib cage. Then lift your head and shoulders up. We're going to reach inside of the thigh to grab either the heel or the ankle, whatever you can reach. And then lie back down, head and shoulders on the floor. If this is a strong enough intensity, you're going to keep the knee bent like this. If you want a little bit more, you're going to press the foot against the hand and raise it up toward the ceiling for reclined lunge pose. And just notice how your body reacts. If the leg starts to shake immediately, that's the hamstring telling you that it's a little bit too much, so you can just bend your knee more. And let this evolve gradually if things feel tight. And the goal is to not actually straighten the leg here. So if you get to about a 90-degree bend in the knee, you're fully in the pose. It should feel like half of happy baby. Good. A few more breaths. Keep actively reaching through the straight leg, rounding the back of that hip and thigh toward the floor. One more deep breath in. And exhale, release the foot and let that leg come down and straighten on the mat. Just notice the difference between the right and left side. And then we'll bring the right knee to the chest. You can hold the front of the shin as you actively reach through the left leg, pushing all the way out through the heel. Let each exhalation breath guide the bent knee closer to your upper body so you have a really deep flexion in the hip joint, and that's going to help lengthen the lower back. And we'll hold the right knee just with the right hand, left arm can relax. We're going to guide the knee just a bit wider than the upper body, opening out to the side. Lift your head and shoulders and reach inside of the leg for either the heel with your whole palm or just grab the ankle. And then lie back down once you've got that. And you can stay right here if it's already pretty challenging in the hip, or start to push the foot up against the hand. Sole the foot toward the ceiling here for reclined lunge pose. This deep, steady breath. I'm just noticing how you respond to the pose, where you feel the sensation in the hip. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, start to lower the foot and let go of it and release that leg to the floor. Just take a moment to let the hips settle there and hopefully you feel even on both sides. From here, bend both knees again and reach down and grab the edges of your yoga mat. We're just going to tuck the shoulder blades a little closer together underneath the back. Press against your feet and lift the hips up to bridge. It doesn't have to be a very high bridge just yet. This is mostly just to stretch the front of the hip flexors. Take 5 deep breaths here. Last inhalation. Exhale and roll the spine back down. Good, let's open the arms out to the sides again, palm facing up. Take the feet about as wide apart as your yoga mat, and then drop the knees back and forth from side to side, allowing this to freely rotate your pelvis and rock through the lower back. The next time that your knees drop over to the right side of the mat, let them stay down there and actively press the inside of your left knee and thigh down toward the mat as much as you can. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, pick the knees back up, letting it go. Other side, knees drop to the left and stay down there. And actively press the inside of your right knee down toward the mat. One more deep breath in. Exhale, bring the knees back up, release. Good, from here, find your strap or whatever you're using, if it's a tie or a belt, and undo that, and you can bring your feet hip width apart again. Let's bring the right knee into the chest and slide the left leg back down on the mat, and that leg will be active again like it was in the reclined lunge, so press all the way out through the heel. We're going to take our hamstring sequence. You're going to lift your head and shoulders and reach forward to place the strap around the ball of the foot. Once you have it there, lie back down, press the foot against the strap until the leg can completely extend. And if your hamstrings are resisting this posture, just go lower in the leg and longer with the strap until there's no bend left in your knee. And that might be different depending on the day, or you might be different on the right side than the left. So the strap is there to just help you adjust for that. And once you have the posture, make sure the grip is pretty tight with the hands. Pull down against the strap so there's some energetic feedback into the stretch. Keep the shoulders down on the mat. We'll take several deep breaths here. And from here, bring both pieces of the strap in the right hand only. Left arm can relax on the ground. The next time that you inhale, open the right leg out to the side and stabilize the other side of your body by engaging the core and continuing to press the left leg down into the mat. Once you find your maximum range of motion here, we're just going to hold 5 breaths. With your last exhalation, contract your inner thigh and lift the leg up. Then change hands. Left hand's going to hold the strap, right arm can relax, and cross the leg over your hips toward the left side of your mat. Any amount until you feel a good sensation from the outer hip down to the outer knee, stretching through the IT band. We want to again try and keep this leg really straight, but the leg that's on the ground can relax or rotate a little bit. That one no longer needs to be quite so active. The next time that you inhale, bring your leg back up to the starting position. Just pause there briefly and just see if you notice a difference or if the leg can come any closer than it did initially. And then when you're ready to let go, bend the knee, remove the strap from the foot, and let that leg come down to the ground. Good. If you need to, adjust your hips so they feel centered below your shoulders, and then we'll switch. Bring the left knee to your chest. Right leg is active on the mat. You can lift up and place the strap around the foot. Once you have it, lie down again and press that foot against the strap to extend the leg. And adjusting the strap if the hamstring is resisting the pose. Nice tight grip here. Slow and steady breath. And from here, preparing for the second phase, hold the strap in the left hand only. Right arm can relax. The next time you inhale, open that leg out to the side, finding your range of motion here. Stabilize the right side by remaining active in the core, so your abdominals are going to contract. Keep pressing the right hip and thigh down against the mat. 5 breaths here. The next time that you exhale, contract the inner thigh, lift the leg, change hands, and take the final variation of this pose by crossing the leg over your hips toward the right side, any amount until you feel that strong stretch down the outer hip and thigh. And your right leg can relax a little bit and rotate on the floor. Left leg stays straight. And the next time you inhale, let's bring that leg back up to the center. Hold for just a moment and see if it can come any closer to your upper body. And then bend the knee, release the strap, and let go of that leg. Good. From here, just shake out the knees a little bit, banging the back of the legs against the mat, letting go of some of that intense energy from the quads and the hips. And then we're going to come off of the back. You can bend the knees and roll yourself over to one side. And we're going to press up off of the back and into table pose. So coming onto the hands and knees here. And let's space the knees hip width apart and the palms shoulder width apart, and we'll do some spinal waves. On an inhalation, lift the tailbone, chest, and chin, looking forward or up. Exhale, drop the tailbone and round the spine, tucking the chin. Again, inhaling, deeply arch the spine. Exhaling, deeply round the spine. Take a few more in each direction, coordinating with the speed of your own breath. And the next time that you exhale through the rounded spine, that can be your last one. And then return to a neutral table pose. We're going to extend the arms out in front of you and let the chest, armpits, and head drop down toward the floor for half down dog. If the head doesn't meet the mat, you can put a block there. Press strongly through the palms as if you were doing the full pose. So the arms are going to actively engage, elbows extend. And with each exhalation breath, feel your spine pull deeper into the body. Let's take 5 more deep breaths here. And after those 5 breaths, you can inhale and lift yourself back up into table pose. From here, let's send the left leg out to the side, like in gate pose. And the sole of the foot is going to stay on the floor. Your right toes can be pointed because we're going to be sitting down on the heel like child's pose. We're going to coordinate with the breath here. On an exhalation, sit your right hip down to the heel as the left leg stays extended out to the side. Inhale and lift yourself back up. So do that a few times. Exhale to sit down toward the right heel. Inhale to lift back up to this table. 2 more. And after those 2, we're going to sit down once more and stay there. And then turn the left toes up toward the ceiling so it's just your heel pressing down against the mat. Actively reaching all the way through that leg. Feel your quadriceps engage as the hamstring stretches down toward the ground. The next time that you inhale, lift up off of the heel back to your table and step that left leg back in line. Okay, let's switch sides. Take your right leg out to the side like in gate pose. Left knee will stay on the mat. You're going to point the toes so that you can sit down on the heel. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sit back. Right leg is nice and long. Inhale, coming up. Twice more. And after those 2 more with the breath, we'll take a third, staying there with the hips down. Turn the right toes up toward the ceiling so it's just your heel pushing against the mat, extending that leg. Really contract the quads to lengthen the hamstring. The next time you inhale, lift up off of the left heel, and let's step that knee back to your table pose. Good, from here we're going to take a lunge. If you'd like to use blocks under your hands, you can do that. Let's step the right foot in between the hands or the blocks and keep the left knee down for a low lunge. Want the front knee in line over the ankle and the back knee as far back as you can go comfortably. So you get a lot of length through the front of the hip, the psoas, and the quad. And you can let your upper body rest on the right thigh and feel your inhalation expand into that leg. Nice low, deep breaths in. You feel the ribcage contract each time you breathe out. The next time you inhale, we're going to come up to balance, reach the arms forward and up, drawing the spine back in line for crescent lunge. Keep the hips as low as you can here, but if the intensity is too much, you can always purposefully pull the hips up away from the mat. So the higher you go in the hips, the less intense it's going to be here in that hip flexor. We're going to take a little shoulder mobility. You're going to bend the elbows like a cactus position, palms facing front, and then squeeze the shoulder blades back and lift the chest, and then bring the elbows together in front of you and tuck the chin to the chest. Do that a few times. Lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades back, exhale, bring the elbows together, tuck the chin. Do that twice more. And then you can take the palms back out to that cactus position. On an exhalation, lean down and place the hands on the mat. Send the hips back in space and step the right foot out of the lunge. Other side, left foot in between the hands. Bring the hips down and forward and slide the right knee farther back if you can. Couple of breaths here, just settling into the low lunge on this side. Noticing if it feels any different for you than the previous side, or adjusting if you notice a significant imbalance. And then the next time you inhale, reach the arms forward and up, drawing the spine back in line over the hips for your low crescent lunge. Take a moment to find stability here. Try and stay low through the hips and lift up really tall through the spine. Good, again, bend the elbows out to the side like a cactus position here, palms facing open. You're gonna inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back and lift and open the chest. Exhale, bring the elbows together in front of you, tuck the chin to the chest. Inhale, open and gently arch. Exhale, close the elbows and palms, chin to the chest. Twice more. After that second round, you can open the palms and arms again, and then lean down, place the hands on the mat. Send your hips back and step out of the low lunge. Good, from here, plant the palms directly on the floor, so blocks off the mat if you had them. Spread the fingers nice and widely apart. We're gonna send the hips back in space to extend the arms, and then lift the knees and hips up for our first downward facing dog. Adjust the feet a few inches apart, and let your head and neck release down. If the hamstrings are on the tighter side, you're going to keep your knees bent in the pose. They're feeling pretty loose. You can work on reaching the heels down toward the ground. Settle into a nice, smooth, steady rhythm to your breath. And try and find one focal point to concentrate on. Take 3 more breaths. And after that last exhalation, gently lower the knees and take child's pose. Point the toes, sit back on your heels and lower the upper body. Allow your shoulders and arms to relax. And if your head doesn't meet the ground, you can put a block there or stack your hands on top of each other. Close the eyes here and just take a few moments to notice how you're feeling in your body at this point. Try and let go of any holding or squeezing throughout the legs, especially the outer hips or the calves. And from here, when you're ready, we're gonna lift up out of child's pose and return to downward facing dog. So you can plant the palms again, send the hips back and lift them up. We're gonna be here just a moment. So once you've fully extended into the pose, look forward at the hands and take a deep breath in. As you exhale, walk your feet all the way up to the front of the mat. And once you're there, bend the knees slightly and hang over the legs in a standing forward bend. We're gonna hold on to our elbows here, crossing at the forearms, and allow the weight of the shoulders to hang down, completely letting go all throughout the spine. And if you want to add a little bit of movement here, you can gently sway your torso side to side like a pendulum, back and forth to help release the lower back. And let that motion eventually stop. Let go of the elbows, letting the arms hang down. Bend the knees pretty deeply and engage your abdominals by drawing your navel in toward your spine. We're going to slowly roll up through the spine, one vertebra at a time, keeping the knees bent until you are upright, and then straighten the legs, the hips, and opening fully. Take a few moments here. You can close the eyes, just stand in mountain pose, and give your body that moment or two for the blood pressure change to complete. Let your breath slow down. Good, and once you feel like you've adjusted, you can open the eyes. We're going to take a standing side bend, and we're going to stand with the feet together and actively squeezing the legs against one another. So really strong, especially through the quadriceps and the outer hips. From here, you're going to raise the arms up over your head, and you can either plant the palms together, or if that feels tight in the shoulders, you can try just grabbing your left wrist here with your right hand instead. In either case, I want you to tuck your tailbone in so that there's less arch in your lower back. And then the next time you exhale, we're going to bend to the right, starting to lean over for crescent moon pose. Keep squeezing the legs together, squeezing the outer hips and glutes, and only go as far over as you are comfortable breathing. It's definitely going to be a challenge to inhale since we're in a very asymmetrical position. It can be difficult to expand fully in the ribs. So focus mainly on getting a good breath in here. The next time that you inhale, slowly lift yourself back up, and exhale, release the arms, let them relax or roll the shoulders, maybe bend the knees a little bit, let go of that intensity in the legs. All right, other side when you're ready, re-energize the legs, squeezing them into one another, raise the arms up overhead, and you can either press the palms together or grab your right wrist with your left hand. We're going to tuck the tailbone to lengthen the lower back, and then side bend to the left. Good, breathe as deeply as you're able to here and keep that strong intensity in the legs. The next time you inhale, slowly lift yourself back upright. Exhale, release. release. Good, roll the shoulders, loosen up the arms, and bend the knees a little bit. All right, from here I'm gonna have you grab your strap again. And we're going to use the strap for a shoulder and chest opening in a forward bend. You can stand toward the front of your mat with your feet a little bit wider apart than hip width. You're going to take the strap in between the hands behind your back. Stand nice and tall and roll the shoulder blades toward the spine to open the chest. And then reach the fist down toward the floor to straighten the arms. And if they don't straighten, you can take more space between them. For this fold, we're going to start with the knees pretty well bent, so go ahead and bend them here, and then send your hips back in space and your upper body forward in space, and start to fold the upper body down toward the thighs, letting your head and neck drop, and starting to lift the arms up overhead away from the spine. If the hamstrings are on the tighter side, you can keep your knees bent the whole time in this pose. Right now, my upper body is basically touching the thighs, and my knees are really bent. If you want to include more of a hamstring stretch here, start to press strongly against your feet and see if you can lift your hips up just little by little, working on extending the legs more. Keep the neck nice and loose. A few more breaths here. We're going to stay in the forward bend. Just start to release the arms, letting them come back down, and then separate the hands, put the strap down, let go of that, and let the arms hang down again. Let's hold on to the elbows, crossing at the forearms, and let the weight of the shoulder blades completely sink down. Let go of the elbows. If your hands don't meet the ground here, just bend your knees enough so that they do. From here, we're going to walk back to down dog. So take as many steps as you need to find the distance you need between the hands and the feet, and then press against the hands, extending nice and long through the arms and the spine. Let's take 5 to 10 breaths here. One more breath in, and exhale. Gently release the knees to the floor. We're going to bring the knees and thighs together so they touch. Point the toes and sit back toward your heels and walk your arms and upper body over to the left side of the mat, creating a C curve in the spine. And then you're going to drop down like child's pose. So similar to that standing side bend we just did, the half moon pose, or crescent moon pose rather. We're lengthening the right side of the upper body as we compress the left. Take 3 more deep breaths here. And then lift your head and chest, walk your arms back through to the center of the mat, and then over to the right side. And then let your upper body come down, dropping the head, side child's pose. Next time you inhale, lift your head and chest, walk it back through to the center, and then we'll take the regular child's pose. Upper body's gonna come down, and this time we'll wrap the arms around the legs, letting the hands rest by the feet, and let your shoulder blades separate and melt down toward the ground. Let's take 5 breaths here. And after those 5 breaths, take your hands in front of the knees and just press against the mat to lift your upper body off of the legs. And from here, we're going to take a seated pose. And if you'd like to elevate your hips, you can take that blanket and unroll it and fold it a few times so that it acts as a support for you. And the first pose that we're going to take tonight also uses our strap as an assist. You're going to straighten your left leg out in front of you and bend the right knee out to the side, bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh. We're going to take nose to knee pose, or Janu Shirshasana. We're going to take this strap and throw it around the ball of your left foot. And just like we did lying on the back earlier, try and keep the left leg strong and straight. With a tight grip, pull against that strap and lift up nice and tall through your spine. And try and open the right knee down and out to the side. If the hip is really tight or the knee hovers a lot, you could use a block to fill that space so that the leg has something to rest against. Good. From here, we're going to fold forward. Drop the chin toward the chest. Gently pull against your strap and guide your spine forward and down. And if at any point this does not feel good for your lower back, you can modify the pose by bending your left knee. And you can reach your arms forward again so they're not pulling on the strap the whole time. If you end up at the heel or the foot, you can use that. If you still have a lot of strap left, you can keep it as a part of the pose. Take a few more breaths here. And see if you can start slowing down the speed of the exhalation phase of your breath. We're starting to wind down energetically in terms of the types of poses that we're doing, seated and forward folds. And nice slow exhalations send calming signals to the body. The next time that you inhale, you can lift yourself back upright, and we'll get rid of the strap here. Let's straighten the right leg and switch sides. Bend the left knee out to the side, sole of the foot comes to the inner thigh. And again, if this hip is tight or the knee is really high, you can fill that space with a block. Let's throw the strap around the right foot. Once it's connected there, tight grip on the strap, pull against it to help you sit up nice and tall. When you're ready for the fold, drop the chin down toward the chest, pull against your strap, and gently start lengthening your spine forward and down, little by little. You can re-extend the arms, either keeping the strap if there's a lot left or holding at the foot. Feel free to close your eyes if you like. And again, consciously slowing the exhalation phase of your breath. Maybe going for at least 2 or maybe 3 beats longer than your inhalation if you can. When you're ready to come out of the pose, inhale and slowly lift upright. You can get rid of that strap. And from here, just let both legs come out in front of you. Take your hands behind your back. Just lean back on the hands for a moment. Shake out the legs a little bit. Bend the knees. Let go of some of the intensity from the thighs, especially if your legs were straight in that pose. Then I'm going to have you bend your knees about as wide apart as your yoga mat and lean forward and hold the front of the ankles or the shins. So we're going to come into a modified version of tortoise pose. The knees and thighs should be wider apart than the upper body. We're going to take a deep breath in and lift up tall through the spine. As you exhale, tuck the chin and fold the upper body through the legs, letting the weight of the head drop down. Rounded position through the back. And as you are folding and exhaling here, you may find that as you get lower, you need to shift the arm position to stay feeling pretty relaxed. So feel free to hold wherever on the lower leg or foot makes sense to you. If you get low enough to the point where the shoulders are below the level of the knees, it might feel comfortable to just tuck your arms behind the calf muscle and hold the front of the feet. And no matter how far down you're going in this pose, it's a pretty compressed forward fold. So we're contracting the front side of the body to really expand and open the back side of the body. And it's possible that breathing feels a little challenging in a pose like this. So see if you can focus on letting the space of your inhalation be in the sides of your rib cage and in the back, because there's going to be less space in the front. The next time that you inhale, slowly roll up. If you tuck the arms behind the legs, just lean to each side to unthread them. And then we'll bring the knees back together. You can slide down off of whatever you are sitting on. And we're going to come to the back. If you want to use your blanket as a support for your head, you can take that. And once you are on your back, I'm going to have you bend the knees, plant the feet about hip width apart, and let your arms just rest out to the sides. Just give your spine a moment to settle and find its natural curvatures again. Feel your rib cage relax, and all the muscles that were just really stretched on your backside, just letting them kind of come back into their natural length. We're going to finish up with a nice long twist here. I'm going to have you bring your left knee into your chest and slide your right leg down on the mat. And the right leg doesn't have to be perfectly straight. It can be totally relaxed right now. And for this twist, you don't have to have the knees super close to your upper body. So let's actually put some space between the thigh and the rib cage and then cross it over your hips toward the floor on the right side of the mat. As the knee is dropping down, you can give yourself a nice adjustment by sliding your bottom hip over to the left side of the mat a couple inches. And once you feel settled in the shape, gently close your eyes here. And just take a moment to scan through your body and notice if there's any part of you right now that feels tense or held in this twist. And if so, see if you can gradually let that energy release so that this pose feels really relaxed and restorative, no effort whatsoever. Maybe that's the positioning of the arms. Or maybe it's letting go of any holding in the legs, just letting every muscle relax. Take 5 more deep breaths here. And after those 5 breaths, just gently unwind. Roll to your back. Bend both of your knees and press against your feet to help slide the hips to the center point below your shoulders. And just pause there briefly to let your spine release from the shape of the twist. Notice how your back feels. And then when you're ready for the other side, slide your left leg down on the mat and totally relax. Right knee comes in toward you, but not super close. And then we're gonna cross it over the body toward the ground on the left side. Right arm's gonna float out to counter that. And you can give yourself that adjustment again by adjusting the bottom hip over to the right side of the mat. And once you feel settled in the shape, again, close the eyes. Just scan through your body for any areas of holding or active energy that you could let go of. And take 5 more deep breaths here. And after those 5 breaths, you can gently unwind the twist. Plant both feet on the floor and adjust your hips so they feel centered below you. Take a moment there just to pause and allow the lower back to relax. And then I'll have you get comfortable for final relaxation, corpse pose. If you'd like to end the practice today in recline bound ankle pose, you can take your Shavasana in that posture with the soles of the feet together and the knees open. However, if you do this, I would recommend supporting the outer thighs with your blocks so that it doesn't become too deep of a hip opening, but it's more a way to release the lower back. So if you'd like to do that for a few minutes, take the supported version of the pose. If you'd rather have your legs extended out in front of you like a typical corpse pose, you can get yourself comfortable there. And take a few moments to get settled, get yourself completely comfortable and relaxed on your mat. And then gently close your eyes. And take a moment with the eyes closed just to briefly scan through your body again, noticing if there are any areas that you need to adjust to be more comfortable. And if so, go ahead and do that so that you're not distracted by the desire to move. And then take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And let that breath just be a signal to your body that you're going to let go of the deep breathing practice now at this point and allow your natural breath quality to return to the body without any more focus or attention on your breath. Let every single muscle and every single joint sink down into the floor. And just enjoy these next few minutes of quiet rest. Slowly bring your attention back to the surface and lengthen your breath. And in your own time, begin to move a little bit through the fingers and the toes, gently waking up your body. And take any other movement or stretch that would feel good to you here. And then eventually bend the knees and bring them together if they were in the reclined bound angle pose, and we'll all hug the knees into the upper body. You can wrap your arms around the legs and rock a little bit side to side. And then turn your knees around in a big circle a few times in each direction, just massaging your SI joints and lower back. And then eventually turn over to one side, pausing in a fetal pose. And just take a moment there to notice how your body is feeling right now. And keeping the eyes closed, gently press yourself back upright whenever you feel ready, taking a comfortable seated posture. And once you are sitting, you can let the palms just rest in the lap. Find a tall, upright position. And start to deepen the inhalation phase of your breath now, just to help wake up the body from being in corpse pose. And we'll end our practice chanting Om one time. And bring the palms together in front of the heart and take a deep breath in. Exhale and gently bow the head, acknowledging yourself for making time and space to practice this evening and expressing gratitude to your own body. Thank you all so much for joining me again tonight. I hope that you enjoyed this practice.